The woman didn't scream. She didn't run. She just whispered it, barely loud enough to hear. "Please, don't hurt me." The American soldier froze. They had just opened the doors of the abandoned schoolhouse on the edge of the ruined town. Inside were prisoners, mostly women, German POWs, thin, silent, watching every movement like hunted animals. She stood near the back wall, clutching a torn coat around her shoulders, mud on her boots, blood dried at her ankle. Her eyes never left his hands. The soldier wasn't pointing a weapon. He wasn't shouting. He wasn't even moving. And yet, she was terrified. When he stepped forward, she flinched so hard she hit the wall behind her. Another whisper escaped her lips, shaking this time. "Please, I'll do whatever you say." That stopped him cold. The room went quiet. No crying, no talking, just breathing, shallow and fast. He had seen fear before, combat fear, artillery fear, but this was different. This was expectation, like she already knew what was coming. The soldier lowered his rifle slowly, making sure she saw every movement. "We're not here to hurt you," he said. She didn't believe him. None of them did, because whatever she feared, it wasn't something she imagined. It was something that had already happened. And the Americans were about to find out exactly why she was so afraid. She wouldn't let go of the coat. Even when the American medic knelt in front of her, even when he spoke softly, even when he showed his empty hands. She kept clutching the fabric like it was the only thing keeping her standing. "Ma'am," the medic said gently, "you're bleeding. We need to look at your leg." At the word "look," her breathing broke. "No," she whispered. "Please. No." Her fingers tightened until her knuckles turned white. The soldiers exchanged looks. This wasn't defiance. This wasn't pride. This was panic. The medic didn't touch her. Instead, he slowly placed his helmet on the ground. A small gesture, but a deliberate one. Then he sat back on his heels, lowering himself to her eye level. "We won't take anything from you," he said. "We won't hurt you." She shook her head. "You don't understand," she said, her voice cracking. "They said that too." That sentence landed harder than any gunshot. One of the soldiers swallowed. Another looked away. The woman finally loosened her grip just enough for the medic to see dark stains seeping through the torn fabric near her knee. Old blood, poorly wrapped, infected. "She's been like this for days," another POW whispered from the wall. "She won't let anyone help." The medic realized then. She wasn't afraid of pain. She was afraid of what help had meant before. Slowly, carefully, he reached into his bag and pulled out a clean white bandage. He held it up so she could see it. Didn't move closer. Her eyes followed it. White, clean, untouched. Something in her expression shifted. Just a fraction. "You can stop any time," he said, for the first time since they entered the room. She nodded, and that was when the Americans understood. Whatever her worst fear had been, it wasn't coming from them, and the truth behind that fear was about to change everything. No one spoke. Not the medic, not the soldiers, not the women against the wall. The only sound in the room was breathing. The German woman slowly lowered her hands from her coat. Not all the way, just enough, like someone testing ice before stepping forward. The medic didn't move. He stayed exactly where he was, eyes down, hands resting on his knees, waiting. Minutes passed. One of the soldiers near the door finally noticed something small. The woman wasn't shaking anymore. It wasn't courage, it was exhaustion. "She hasn't slept," another POW whispered. "She stays awake all night." The medic nodded, still not looking at her directly. "That makes sense," he said quietly. He slid a canteen across the floor. Slowly, gently. It stopped halfway between them. No one told her to take it. She stared at it like it might disappear. Then, with both hands visible, she reached out and pulled it closer. The sound of metal scraping against stone felt loud in the silence. She took a sip. Nothing happened. No shouting, no grabbing, no punishment. Her shoulders dropped. Across the room, one of the soldiers exhaled without realizing he'd been holding his breath. That was the moment. Not when the doors were opened, not when the weapons were lowered, but when everyone in that room understood the same truth at once. Fear can be louder than gunfire, and silence can mean safety. And for the first time since she had been taken prisoner, she believed them. No one told her what to do next. That alone felt strange. The medic remained where he was, still seated, still quiet. He glanced once at her ankle, then looked away as if to show he wasn't waiting for permission. "You decide," he said softly. The words were simple, but for her they were unfamiliar. For weeks, every moment had come with an order. Stand, move, wait. Now there was none. She took another sip from the canteen and placed it carefully on the floor, not rolling it back, not pushing it away, just setting it down. Her hands trembled again, but slower this time. She looked at the bandage lying beside the medic's bag, then at him, then back at the bandage. The medic didn't react. Minutes passed. Finally, she did something no one expected. She pushed the coat slightly aside. Not enough to reveal anything shocking, just enough to show the edge of the injury. A silent question. The medic nodded once. "Thank you for trusting us," he said. Still, he didn't move closer. Another woman whispered from the wall, almost in disbelief. "They're letting her choose." The soldier at the door swallowed hard, because they all understood what that meant. This wasn't just medical care, this was the first time since her capture that control had been returned to her, and once that happens, everything changes. The medic waited until she nodded again. Only then did he move. Slow, careful, never blocking her view, never rushing the moment. He cleaned the wound quietly, speaking only when necessary, explaining every step before he did it. She didn't pull away. When it was done, he wrapped the bandage and tied it gently, then leaned back, returning to his place as if nothing more was expected. No orders followed, no demands, just quiet. Another soldier brought bread and set it on the floor, the same way the canteen had been placed. No words, no pressure. She ate slowly. When night came, the Americans lit a small lamp and left it burning near the wall. Not bright, just enough to keep the shadows away, for the first time in days. She lay down. One of the other women whispered, barely holding back tears. "She's sleeping." The medic looked over once, then nodded. "She knows she's safe," he said. Outside, the war continued. Engines, distant fire, commands shouted in the dark. But inside that ruined room, something else had happened. No one had won a battle. No enemy had surrendered. Yet, something had been returned. Something quieter, more fragile, and far more important. Choice, dignity, rest. And when the lamp finally flickered low, she slept without fear.